Yeah, welcome back to Sarajevo, the capital of Bosnia and Herzegovina, for this year's IFX Payments Premier League pool. This is day 7 of a possible 8. We are getting to the real meaty end of this year's Premier League pool. All the names in red have been eliminated. And after today's play, we're going to lose another 4. That's right, the top 6 will advance through to the next stage. It's Robbie Capito who sits at the top, like he has done for some time this week. Johan Chua's in second, then we've got Ruiz, Yap, Shaw and Neuhausen. That is currently the top 6. Matches played. Everyone's going to be playing 24 matches in Phase 2. And this is what we've got coming up for you. Look at this for a match to start proceedings on Table 1. The GOAT, the greatest, the 5-time US Open champ SVB against Johan Chua. Local lad Pehlivanovic is grinding away against Quagang. Capito against SVB. Yap, Chua, Capito, Ruiz. And then we'll finish the afternoon play with Pehlivanovic against Johan Chua. And as you can see, Table 2 action as well. Jason Shaw will play a couple of games over there. Let's get things underway. Chua versus Van Boening. Players will lag nearest to the top rail. Will break first. Talking us through the action, the shots, the safeties, the knowledge, the freezer, Scott Frost.
Absolutely thrilled to be here today with you, Carl. Thank you so much for having me. Looking at Shane Van Boening, who won the lag. And he's caught the bottom of the 9 and 2 finishes high.
Did he take a little bit of pace off it, Scott?
It's something we noticed yesterday. It seemed like he's been doing is taking a little bit of pace off of it. I think what he's told me is that he has a hard time controlling the cue ball when he adds a little extra oomph into it.
Noticed he's breaking with the playing cue as well. For amateurs watching this match, Scott, what would be the reason for SVB breaking with the playing stick?
Well, you can get into the cue ball a little bit more, right? The leather tip, that's something that Europeans do quite a bit, especially at the Mosconi Cup this year. They used leather versus the phenolic, which the Americans used. Well, there is a big difference in control in the cue ball. Obviously, soft versus hard with the tip. I like the shot Shane played. I just felt like he didn't need to really use the left spin. He could have come up a little higher on the pink and really sent the blue towards the 8 versus in front of it. Chua might have a look here. Oh, you could see the whole ball, so an error right out of the gate from SVB. Wasn't easy what he had.
Just to remind you pool fans, 2 tables in play. Table 2 is in the same arena. It's actually a really good setting to watch a couple of tables. Neuhausen against Capito. Yeah, there you see Capito is at the table. This is quite tight into that side. But he's been very impressive, Scott, hasn't he, Capito, this week?
Yeah, most impressive that I've watched all week. We noticed him. I mean, he kind of really stood out from the early afternoon matches, and from there just stayed consistent, whereas a lot of these guys will go up and down a little bit, especially with the equipment, the weather, this, that, the other. Capito has been solid.
Yeah, I think Capito alongside Chua and Yap, for me, they're the 3 that stand out. Where the temperament, they've just handled it a little bit better. It's no disgrace to the others. This is it's a brutal format, so players are entitled to have little dips and be a little bit up and down with the form.
Yeah, so right away out of the gate, SVB breaks, makes a ball, goes to the defensive end of the game. Doesn't quite get there. Chua stitches him up behind the black 8. That's what's earned the offensive look by Chua.
Yeah, 12 months ago, SVB was holding the trophy. If you look at where he is in the league table, just outside the top 6. He's a point behind 6th place. It's Neuhausen who sits in 6th place. But he's playing a match against Capito right now. Shane's got 5 matches to be played today.
Yeah, and I think that's something that Shane will get up for, rather play than kind of sit and wait. I know Shane's the type of guy that wants to hit more balls than less, so that can only help him.
Yeah, the players have played a colossal amount of matches this week, but now you can kind of see what they've got to do. It starts to make sense. In a couple of 9 balls missed in this pocket.
Yeah, one in particular that really sticks out. Turned out to be a pretty important match early on is Eklund Kachi. Easier than this, and I think he was just in between stopping the cue ball or kind of floating it in and then rolling it in the last minute. Well, he just shot it right into the rail. I don't believe Chua is going to do that.
Yeah, 1-0 to Johan Chua. Also 1-0 to our other leader, Robbie Capito. He wins the first. They're both tied at the top of the table. It's Capito who is at the top because of the rack difference. His rack difference is 26. Chua is 23. That's how close these two have been all week. Here we go. Let's have a look at Chua's break as he leads 1-0.
Yeah, Mr. Consistent with the look on the blue too. Seems like to me really been the story for him most of the day yesterday as well. Entire left side of the table is open for the pink 4. So really just a matter of getting the 7 down here and up to the red 3. Oh, this is too thin. Yeah, too thin.
Yeah, unexpected at this level. You just expect the players to make this shot. I mean, look where the 7 is. Wow. Sure, Shane feared the worst.
Yeah, exactly. He was already getting ready to break in the next game because this one looked over with. Oh, went towards the pink there. I felt like that was a little risky if he catches it awkward. It worked out.
Yeah, it looked like the pink could have still potted from the left side. Shane took a small gamble. He knew he was going to be on the 2 ball, but now and again the balls have a funny way of punishing you.
Does he have to draw to a gap or just punch? Okay, you can go rail first at worst. needs to run. I always felt like this could be dangerous. And he just said something to himself. I don't understand why he wouldn't just stay on the bottom end of the purple here, really going to only one pocket in the lower right if you try to come around.
I think there's been a few instances this week in some of Shane's games where he's just lost a cue ball. He's one of the best with the cue ball. That's why I'm saying it. I know Jeremy's talked about tables just playing a hair slower, which is a good thing. Yeah, there you see the cue ball again. I think he wanted it further down, Scott.
Yeah, actually a pretty cool little shot there. 3-railing it between the 9 and 8. Always aware that he's going to get it up table, but like Carl said, he's trying to punch the cue ball down and use that little wall right there.
Yeah, now Chua's got half a chance of putting Shane in a similar position, but opposite ends of the table. Well, Capito's looked good in the first 6 days. This is day 7. The trend continues.
Yeah, and I think you're right, Carl. I mean, it's a high inside ball to rail it down past the green. He's the type to want to attack this as well at times. Oh, and he did attack.
That guy's a maniac at cutting the ball. Honest to God.
Yeah, there's nobody better.
I mean, look at the overhead. He's got the audacity to cut that ball in.
Well, there's no way he's playing safe here. After that, green 6 to the lower right.
Telling you time and time again, he just keeps cutting the balls in.
Yeah, and Shane going to get the ultimate punishment for poor positional play.
Settle down, cue ball. Okay, we got a little bit of action here.
Yeah, he doesn't want it easy. Nothing's been easy these last 4 balls except the 8.
Johan Chua might be better cutting this in left middle, Scott.
Yeah, and he's rolling this where that might be his. Well, never mind.
Yeah, he's such a good potter, such a great shot maker, and he's such a good advert for the game of 9 ball. He really is. He's got the movie star looks. He plays the game the attractive way. Talking of movie stars.
Yeah, Robbie Capito just continues to do what he does, right, Carl, all week long, thumping the back of the pocket. Does not let off anything as far as emotion.
Okay, SVB to break. He's found himself in a spot of early bother hit. Let's not forget, he's outside the top 6 at the minute.
Does the 9 have the speed? I do not think it does. And that is par for the course for SVB.
Yeah, it's funny, isn't it? You know, he made a mistake. He played a, I'm going to say a poor safety, but it just lacked that cue ball power, didn't it, moving forward. Chua cut the ball in. And now Shane's got to play this shot. Chua's put him back in.
Yeah, and I mean, really, Carl, I thought he could go rail first on the pink, which caused all the problems. Oh, boy. Once again, this cut shot, Carl, would you bet against him cutting this in?
No, I definitely would not. He just must be able to sight this a particular way. It's a shot, personally, I always used to hate. Like I just couldn't judge it enough. I have a feeling you'd be good at this shot, though, Scott. I think it's one of your strengths, no?
Maybe about 20 years ago I did like it, but not today. I'll tell you what it is. I think his eyesight is really, really good, to be honest with you. You know, some people's eyesight's quite a bit better than others, and I think he really can define the edge of the object ball from what I see.
Yeah, I wonder if he's got some sort of little sneaky Filipino sort of like training thing or something. I don't know. Just don't know how he keeps knocking them in. Look, they're going clean though. Wonder if he's got like a little system or something.
Oh, look at this. This is going to be painful. The cue ball gets up another rotation. Does it have room for the one rail bank to the 9? Yeah, and like Carl said, look how clean the ball's going in. I mean, that's as good as it gets from Chua. Is he going to the 9, Carl?
I believe so. And that's why. What a shot. What a start. Again, it was the safety from Shane, Scott, wasn't it? Oh, and he throws the one ball into the sky.
You keep talking about the safety. I keep
Hay
talking
quá
about
mọi
the
người ơi.
positional play, right?
Vừa điều
You
con
have
cái
the
kìa.
entire bottom half of
Chỉ
the
phát
table to get
chỉ đâu cái
perfect
ra đấy luôn.
on the ball, and instead he tried to wrap all the way
Con cái
around where it
39
played in one pocket
cân
and
ghép,
come up
trời ơi.
way short.
Hay
That's
quá.
where the mistake came in.
Yeah, you're right. It's a fair shout. Give you that one on day 7. It was a late night.
Bên này Capito thắng đi.
Yeah, for all of us.
Yeah, we had the exhibition match last night. Eklund versus AJ.
What a show that was.
Capito
Vừa bảo
is
ông thắng
human.
xong ông bắn nắc luôn con 4 ạ.
He misses the pink 4. Yeah, and in true Filipino Efren style, catchy
Ok, Hoàng Sa
Not
mà
the
loại
four
cũng
railer.
có chua hay
to
mà.
win Hill Hill.
Chua hay, giáp cũng hay. Ông nào châu Á tôi cổ vũ hết.
Here we go again, Freeze. It's one of his little sniper cut shots.
Yeah, the old slice and dice. Bridge over the brown 7 might make it a little bit more awkward, where he's got to kind of elevate into the cue ball, which can make the 2 turn over a little bit. But I think he's got to go clean at it here and maybe even just let the cue ball finish wherever it wants. More about making the 2. This is easy compared to the last 2 or 3 he's diced in. All right, using an outside ball.
Ôi chém hay chưa kìa.
I'll tell you what, with the
Cái lực
outside
kìa,
ball,
trời
they're
ơi.
going in front of the left
Chỉ
side
đâu ra đấy
pocket
kìa.
to hold the cue ball like that and have
Nhìn thích thế.
so much room for position.
Anh Hoàng sau trận này nhé.
Pretty
Sau trận này
impressive.
thì gặp Sanjin.
Yeah, looking at the overhead, I think the purple 5 goes past the 8 ball, which makes life easier. But he's at a funny angle there. I presume if he draws back, he might be just going into the purple.
I believe it was Jason Shaw yesterday that delivered the donut to SVB. I mean, we're not too far from that again.
Yeah, there you can see the angle. Yeah, purple 5 does pop. If it didn't, he'd have tried to move it.
Con 5 kia nữa cơ.
Well, look
À,
here, he's
5 hết
looking to
đường
the
xương
short
rồi thì
side.
phải.
I agree with you. I felt like he could, maybe he was trying to maybe tickle the backside of the 5 on the way out.
5 kia là hết.
Get there.
À, còn đường lỗ 10 vẫn lỗ tít nữa thôi. Điều con này chi tiết Chua chỉ đấy. Xem Chua nào.
Yeah, the purple
Điều
5
con này.
must not go. So Scott's right. He must have been playing the one real stun shot just to bump it.
Cái lực sợ thật.
Well, That is a tidy shot.
Kiểm soát lực rất tốt luôn anh em ạ.
Does it play to the right side, I guess?
Yeah, he's just got to like nip the cue ball, hasn't he? This is the shot where this type of cue helps you. Tyler Steyer's cue. Well, you got to be cueing out the box to get this one right. Yeah, see how he just nipped it? Things are going
Trời ạ.
all to plan here for Chua. Feel like we've
Hay
not
thế
seen
nhỉ?
much of SVB. Been glued to the chair. Yeah, we've been playing just under 20 minutes.
Yeah, this has been.
Coi như là trong này đặt cái luôn, cần gì phải điều.
Day 7. I think this is one of the best performances I've seen from Chua yet, and it seems like I say this almost every match he plays.
Yes, Chua 4, SVB 0. Similar score on table 2, just a rack behind. Capito 3.
Chua, ai giờ gặp Chua cũng ngán.
0. Let me just have a quick look at the league table. If you want to check it out yourself,
Đánh thế chịu.
WNTLivescores.com. Well, just like that. Scott Frost just put it on the screen for me. Beautiful stuff. Capito and Chua both in action now. Both winning pretty easy. Both on 14 points.
Sen không có thận, Sen bị
Look
loại.
at Neuhausen though. He's in action against Capito on table 2. And he currently sits in 6th place. So that's actually good news for SVB. The problem is, SVB is a rack away from another donut.
Yeah, and how much do those donuts show up in the future? Shaw delivering the same thing to SVB yesterday. Do those 10 games that he did not win cost him? But he does get one on the board. It's a golden break, Carl.
Chết 9 kìa. Golden break.
Yeah, let's have a look at the break. He's gone head on.
Xem 9 trận lúc nào.
Rifled
him.
him.
10.
Maybe that's the new play.
Yeah, a little bit of SVB tilt going on here. Not a happy camper. Doesn't take much to switch it round though, does it? You know, I know he's 4-0 down, but a couple of racks here and there and you feel like you're back in it. Okay, Neuhausen's at the table. He's also not won a rack just yet.
Bị 3-0 à?
SVB is off the board with the golden. Probably the first golden break like that, I would say, this week.
Yeah, I don't think anybody's crushed the balls from head on at all this week. So definitely the first golden break, and you never know. He might really need that game going down the road. We'll see how SVB continues to break moving forward.
Chua will have none of it. He's not going to start going down the nose, and he's got one of these little thin snippers again. He's got to use the bridge though.
Yeah, he's a big reach here. Like Carl said, probably have to use the bridge. Little thin snipper, Carl said.
Pool players, Scott, not too clever with a bridge from what I've seen over the years. There's only a few that can sort of handle the bridge.
Well, it definitely seems over time that it was kind of, no offense, the shorter guys that really understood it a lot better. and obviously the snooker players as well.
Yeah, you could see the way you were holding the cue. It all looked a little bit messy. Well, does the bank shot go into the left side, or is he gonna? He just doesn't want to play safe, does he?
You can't blame him. He wins with offense. That's his style, and it works for him. Twice in the lower right. Shane will be thrilled.
Yes, I mean, if Chua goes on to run the rack here, it's not exactly the story of the match, is it? The fluke 3 ball. Shane's made that positional error that you talked about, Scott. Is that a 1-0 as well?
Yeah, I think that's what it was, right?
Okay, one shot here, and this rack will be over. Make sure you take care of the green 6. All in all, Chua has looked very good in this game.
Yeah, what's Van Boening's attitude going to be like after this going forward? It's been all Chua and Capito so far this week.
Well, that was a very quick match. Took about 25 minutes. Chua's got the victory. And Yuan Chua goes top of the table.
Anh Hoàng vào bàn này luôn nhé.
Might not be for long because on table 2, Capito is winning 3 racks to 0. But it's Chua who gets the
Capito. Hôm nay 2 quả như thế rồi. Morit sao đó? Đánh 2 quả lắc lỗ rồi. Set trước thì còn 4. Ok. Feliciano. Chua rất khỏe. Chua show strong. đêm nhiều quá tôi cũng ốm này. Ông Leo Sen này có một cái tật rất hay là khi kiểu ông điều cái gì ấy, ông tính đường điều ấy, ông phải chỉ cho trỏ. Thêm một cái nữa là lơ của ông ấy, khi nào ông ấy nhìn xuống bàn cái là ông ấy sẽ phải chỉnh lại lơ. Con 2 ra đẹp luôn này.
Hello everyone, we're back. This is day 7.
Ok, anh Hoàng ngồi dưới đấy.
Sorry, it is day 7. Here's the top of the table. Johan Chua.
Chua vẫn top 1.
Against SVB to open day 7.
Capito thắng thì Capito lên top 1.
Capito, one less played match, one less win.
Sen thì ở lại với anh Hoàng.
Of course, we lost the guys in red a few days ago on Jeremy Jones with Scott Frost. Got a good match coming up here. Local guys, Sanjin Pehlivanovic against Quagang. And, you know, Sanjin got on a decent roll. I think he did lose his last match.
Ông này là cạnh tranh trực tiếp với anh Hoàng nhé.
But still looking a lot better since the early stages of this event. Quagang, who had a rough day yesterday, didn't get really going at any point, but looking for a fresh one here. But both these guys need a lot of wins to advance, so we'll see how it goes. Sanjin to break in game number 1.
Nào,
Scott, you saw all that first match from Chua, and it was something special, huh?
Chết cái ngay từ đầu này.
Yeah, some of the
Ui giời, tí chết cái luôn kìa. Tí nữa thì yểm bùa thành công. Sorry.
Yeah, I walked in and just took a look at Shane's face, and I knew it wasn't good without seeing the score. And, you know, just how it is. He didn't have a good day yesterday. Wanted a positive start here today to get himself going, and now I think he needs a lot of wins as well.
Yeah, the mindset for SVB might not be where it needs to be. Hopefully that changes. He did make a positional error when it was 1-0 Chua. That really snowballed on him.
Yeah, tough opener here, but trying to go one rail into the 9 maybe. Oh, great
Chạm 3 trước rồi.
Yeah, I think he caught the 3 there.
Oh, he did. Wow. It's funny because I saw Quagang
cộng luôn 39 luôn anh ơi. 39 luôn. Ngon quá.
I was kind of wondering if he had an opening shot here and what the safety might be. Yeah, good call.
Đúng rồi, 39 luôn.
3-9 combination and one he's supposed to make, but
chắc chắn cho em nhé. Chắc chắn cho em nào. Một điểm đầu tiên. Đúng rồi. Đối tặng quà thế không nhận thì thôi. Anh em Việt Nam ngủ hết rồi.
It's funny with that kind of
anh em nước ngoài
combination.
xem này.
A little the rail to use, you know, kind of slide it. I hit it at that speed, but when it's out in the middle of the table a little bit, I have a hard time kind of rolling that combination like he did, but of course he has pure stroke and pretty soft hands, the guy. So Quagang to take a 1-0 lead and break in game 2.
Yeah, and on this table we've seen it over and over, Jeremy, where Pehlivanovic is trailing 3-0, 4-1.
Capito đến kiểu gì
It's
thế?
just continue to happen. He is a grinder. Seems to always get himself back in the match and give himself an opportunity to win. Whether the table's helping him, the other players helping him, or he's just doing all the work. Table 2, Capito giving it back to Newhausen. Capito was up 3-0 here, Jay.
Yeah, missed 9-ball there, I believe, in rack number 3 to cut it 2-1, and a poor positional shot from Morris Newhausen. We'll keep you updated on table 2.
Chết chín luôn anh ơi. Còn đến
Great break off. 2's going to dress up, so good look here.
Ok. Tới hết rồi đấy.
A little wet outside today. Been raining pretty much since the AM, and it's harder rain, I think, earlier today than as we've had the entire trip. I don't think it has any notion of letting up for most of the day, so we'll see if it affects anything inside.
Em được qua khe 6 kia.
Now Duong sizing up if he can draw past the 6. May just get in position to take the 3 in the upper left. That's kind of what I like.
Nổ tít được.
Just make sure you're not queuing funny over the 9.
Được cái má thôi để ra 4.
Okay, watch out, pink.
Ui, anh chơi đường dài thế.
Now, does he have the angle to play a little inside, or does he have to go short side on the pink 4?
Mà anh thích đường khó cơ.
Yeah, I think you can get out
Anh
more
cho hình
towards
về
the
để
center.
đánh 3 lỗ
You
10.
have to put a little inside on it, like you just touched on. More about just a follow ball, though I know early in the week with just a high cue ball it should open up, but here with the rain outside, I think it's playing quite a bit shorter than it did the last few days. Yeah, really nice.
Nhưng nói chung là vẫn xử lý hết
Yeah,
được.
didn't really
Không
even
sợ.
need the inside spin, and when the stroke is pure, you don't have to use as much spin. The cue ball kind of gets
Đấy,
through
anh
that
chỉ chỗ
collision a
ra
little
con
better.
cái rồi đấy, để đánh 5 rồi đấy.
And Duong, I've always felt like had a very good stroke, very good timing.
Ui, nắp kìa.
Stays
Cẩn thận
very
giúp
steady
em
with
ơi.
the body.
5 ra 6 này không vấn đề gì rồi. Chủ yếu giờ chi tiết thôi.
Moritz Newhausen on table 2 in position to tie that match. Of course, Capito, his record will tell you how impressed we are this week, especially with all these killers he's been knocking off. But
Ui kìa.
want it back, and
Vừa vào xong lại anh cần chi tiết. Anh cho em quả con 5.
Impressed me as well.
Trời ơi.
Really solid pool, and I think this type of event can go.
Đúng vừa lúc ông Phạm Thanh Vân này, ông Vân này, vừa bình luận xong cái anh làm quả con 5 đi vào lòng người. Ôi em buồn quá anh ơi.
Just misjudged pretty heavily there.
Or you were talking about one way or another.
Ra con 5 đẹp thế rồi.
There's a little bit of help from his opponent. Now Sanjin the same, may have to go through this. I'm not sure to get nice and heavy on the
Đầu tim quá.
just be able to stop the ball.
Anh làm quả. Thôi, 1 đều rồi.
Looks like Mr. Newhausen chipping.
Sanjin này chỉn chu lắm nhá.
And Moritz is in a position, just because of how tough it is, you'd say, oh, let's just win all my matches and I control my own destiny. Well, good luck with that. You know what I mean? You got guys trying to fire at you. So even in losses, it may come down to number 6.
Trời ơi, anh ơi.
Or even number 5 and 6, something to do.
Capito để gỡ hòa rồi. 3 đều rồi. Trước 3 để gỡ hòa 3 đều rồi.
It's not all just about what you do, it's about everything else that's going on around here as well. That's where those 5-0s,
mình nhìn tưởng là hết bàn rồi. Cuối cùng
matches you happen to lose could really show up in the future here.
some players played 4 matches yesterday. Some played 5. Of course, you'll have the opposite of whatever you played yesterday, which will total 9 matches
Quân về đánh giải
between the
99
10
rồi à?
players for each of these players in the round robin.
Sắp rồi. Vẫn phải ở lại cho hết giải này xong rồi mới được về mà. Có được về luôn đâu.
Yeah, looks like SVB will play 5 today.
Ngày mai là hết rồi.
Quagang will play 5 today.
Đây mới trận đầu của ngày thôi.
Yeah, there's a few of them for sure.
Yeah, and of course, Matchroom always trying to put it in the best setting possible.
Tôi chỉ cần anh Hoàng đơn giản là hôm nay thắng 4 trận thôi.
Other 4 that just like
Chỉ
the
cần
6
thế thôi.
previously that got eliminated, the 4 that don't make the second cut to the final
Mà
6
anh có
players,
thua thì em vẫn cổ vũ anh hết mình.
they're going to be playing for extra dollars also. That's 6, 7, 8, or excuse me, 7, 8, 9, 10 spot do pay different. So these matches are going to be worth some money and have value applied.
Yeah, it's day 7 finally getting a little to Capito here on table number 2. He broke dry again. And the most
Có cơ hội nhé.
him that I've seen by
Đúng
far
rồi,
this
hôm nay đánh hết.
Yeah, I caught a little
Tối
bit
nay
of it
2,
yesterday.
sáng
He
mai
showed
2.
A little frustration at times.
Mai ngày cuối rồi mà.
But
Mai ngày
the
cuối
guy
rồi
that
anh
doesn't
em
show
nhé.
a whole lot usually. All right, great break off. He's been breaking the balls really well.
Đến
Just
sáng
got a
ngày
pure one up in the
28 của
corner,
mình
just
là
roll the
như
ball
là chung
out
kết
to
rồi.
the center of the table. Everything else lays very nice. So, like always, the shot of the rack here.
Yeah, knowing Sanj, and he's the type of player that just likes to stun everything, hits things at times with maybe a little bit too much speed, but he feels more comfortable, and I get it where he's stunning, but here, like Jeremy said, I think you just got to float this up. And he doesn't
đây
feel
rồi,
comfortable
đây rồi,
when
đây
he's
rồi,
shooting
đây
those
rồi,
type
đây
of
rồi.
shots, it seems to me, and that's why he's more to the stun ball.
Anh chỉ Chua giúp em cái. Anh cứ chỉ Chua nhìn lại má con 2 giúp em cái. Tự tin lên anh ơi.
Very hard to see because it always seems like a little bit of a slow motion kind of replay, but a little quick with the backswing there is what it was. And
Đối vừa bảo.
You know, if you excel in one area or the other, just play like a few days worth.
Đó, hay rồi anh ơi.
Through the racks and see how you can do rolling the ball around or maybe sweetening around somewhat.
Còn 4 dễ rồi anh ơi. Còn 3 thôi. Cứ giữa lô anh táng giúp em.
Because you know how it is, Scott, as well as anyone. When it comes
5-6 cạnh nhau rồi. 7 cũng lỗ 10 rồi. Ui trời ơi. Anh còn đường không? Còn đường không? Chứ còn đường rồi. Còn đường. Còn đường không? Trời ơi.
Yeah, that never seems to fail.
Ok,
right?
vẫn dựng một bằng.
Shot you're struggling with all week, and the next thing you know, you're staring.
Anh Hoàng đánh run quá không ạ?
3 times in the first game of the set. So you better be ready for it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I don't know what yours was. Mine was high right ball for some reason. High right ball, I just never delivered the cue as well. Maybe being very left eye dominant, I don't know.
Ok.
But there was always that shot in particular that
7 cũng trâu lại thôi.
Probably the wrong way to approach it, but I would try to avoid it. And, you know, I'd practice it, but still try to avoid it.
Yeah, I actually think a lot of the players would be a high right ball. Definitely for me as well.
2-1 đi.
Distance, a high right ball.
Yeah, I think left English, it didn't matter where it was. But I think it's my grip, to be honest with you.
2-1 được rồi đấy anh em ạ. Con 9 này không trượt được nữa đâu.
Kind of let the cup come undone for right English for some reason. I don't know, but good stuff there.
Yeah, and speaking of grip, I was talking to Kachi. I felt like his backhand at times, even in the short distance shots that we were really surprised he was missing, was kind of tightening up in that final delivery a little bit. When I was talking to him about it,
phin rồi.
Looked like a light bulb might have gone off.
You talking about Eklund?
Yeah, Eklund. Sorry.
Yeah. And, I talked about Eklund quite often, just because I love
Capito sao để vươn lên thế này?
His game, and I think he's so good for the sport. And I think he's one of those guys you want to see win for our sport. But You know, he has a little bit of a quicker tempo. So when that's the case, when things are off, certain things get magnified. One of them is definitely the
Đây
grip.
rồi, đây rồi.
Oh, look at this, Jeremy.
Đây rồi.
Did it get in the way? I
Nhảy thôi,
believe
con này
it
chỉ có nhảy
did.
thôi.
Yeah, and this is going to be an awkward stretch, even though limber young man in good shape, but an awkward stretch for the right-hander.
Con 2 này về 3 không vấn đề gì rồi.
Because again, you're going to have some easy layouts.
Bên đấy vừa lag một tí kìa.
But you still have to maintain. The way these tables have played, it doesn't take much to get a little out of line. And the shot
4 đẹp
becomes
luôn.
very difficult. Maybe you
4
land
đẹp
on the
luôn rồi.
rail. And the pockets start to show their teeth a bit.
Yeah, there's no doubt these players have really respected the tables this week. Some probably respect them a little more than others. We noticed right away that some of the guys just couldn't ever really get out of the mental capacity of how tight these tables can play.
Yeah, well, last week, I don't know why, but last week we had them playing a little softer overall, so that transition maybe. But you could tell, I think, that some were thinking about the pocket initially from the start of the event.
Con này về 7 lại vất rồi này.
All right, fell a little flat here. You can usually cheat the stun pretty easily and get a lot of movement. Going forward can be funny from close quarters. I like coming back with the stun myself. That's why spinning the ball,
quyết định nhảy
you
rồi.
just can't predict it. Because the cue ball, when you're in close quarters, never really gains that energy, right? Kind of
quyết định nhảy
just
rồi.
like if you had ball in hand, you would never set it up real close because you want the cue ball to kind of develop, you know, as it goes to the object ball.
Yeah, what side do you think he was trying to stay on, the right or left of the 8?
Sút.
Well, if he was trying to stay on the right of the 8, I think we would have saw a lot less swing there.
Con này
so
không
I think
khó với
he
anh
was
Hoàng.
trying to go past it myself.
Có đêm qua mệt thôi.
All right, watch the cue ball. A couple rails towards the lower left. Lower right, excuse me.
Anh đánh nốt 10, chứ không phải là anh đánh nốt tít. Đây là anh cố tình đánh nốt 10 nhé. Anh thích làm chuyện khó mà. Giờ là con 8 này, không phải giữa lỗ, sắm đầu gậy.
Yeah, table number 2 not breaking real well. Jeremy touched on the rain. It's been raining for at least 24 straight hours. Look at how much of this ball he went to. I do not believe he meant to
va
go.
chín vào cái rơi nữa.
Well, he's got a heck of a stroke. So
3-1.
Maybe a little frustration there.
3-1 rồi. Bên kia Capito cũng dẫn 4-3 rồi.
To the Vietnamese champion and boy, I'd love to see him.
Anh Hoàng đánh hay thế này chứ ông nào comment, tập trung xem thế.
I was impressed with how he handled the Reyes Cup. I really looked for him to kind of falter at times, and he stayed extremely solid under the lights.
Yeah, especially having a big miss in that opening match. Of course, there were a couple mistakes by Team Asia, but then they all responded beautifully.
Ông Capito lại bắn chắc lắm, chắc là thủ rồi.
After that team match, it was some good stuff because they really let go of that loss and move forward like a true team. All right, big shot. He's made most of them.
Ok, tôi tin ông. Thiện này, tôi tin ông. Ông bảo 4 trận tôi càng tin.
Yeah, I wouldn't say dead center, but pretty darn good.
Ok, rơi rồi.
The man in black. I don't know if I've ever seen him play a match where he wasn't wearing all black.
Kể cả ông bây giờ ông bảo ông này phá chết cái tôi cũng tin.
To the chin on his shirt.
All right, trails 3-1.
Không, cái không chết. À, con 2 chưa ăn được.
Sanjin.
Con 2 chưa ăn được nhá.
And a ball coming from nowhere. It's the 8. Knocks the 2 right back up to the top of the table.
Yeah,
con này để thủ sau cụm 85 kia cũng khó nhé. Nào, để xem họ làm gì.
Yeah, I like banking the 2 past the 3 and 4 and maybe snuggling up behind the 8.
I'd go for this.
Well, that's plan B. Well, if he got there,
Ok,
maybe a
nó
little
chưa
heavy
rúc
into
vào.
the 2.
Hở luôn rồi.
Touch thinner.
Lừa công lừa thủ thôi anh. Rơi vào cụm 85 khó. Cái này là đường truyền của bên WNT nhé, không phải do của tôi đâu.
Look at the 5-8. Of course, it's a
Tôi
playable
mạng khỏe lắm.
combination, and if any of these players got in position, they're a big favorite to make, but still got to make it. So maybe you have a little more leeway with this too. I like this. Just wow.
Đây rồi. Đây rồi.
Yes. Look at this shot.
Nhảy đi.
You can go off. Well, you could swerve to the left of it. That's the way I like more than the right.
Quyết định A. Phơi rồi anh em ơi. Phơi rồi. Đường hơi xa tí. Anh cố nhìn chuẩn giữa lỗ giúp em. Em tin anh. Ra 3 không vấn đề gì rồi. Chủ yếu là con 2 thôi. Giữa lỗ.
Yeah, pure stroke there.
Hay mà. Chắc hơn rồi. Lỗi đúng một pha ván đầu thôi. Còn lại vẫn sửa được.
All right, we should get a look at that 5-8 combination we were talking about here in a moment. It's got a nice angle here. You should be able to get somewhat
Con này
close
cho
to
về
it.
ghép thôi.
Real close, but let's say in line with it. Doesn't need a whole lot. Should be a light stun across.
Nào, tính sao anh ơi? Có va không? Có va không? Không va là đẹp nhất.
Be a little bit of an awkward stretch here. Maybe not.
Ghép quả này thì hơi khó nhé. Nhìn kỹ lại anh ơi.
Yeah, it was stretched a little awkward. That last shot, maybe concerned about the purple just a little bit with his body. All ball fouls touch any ball.
Anh đã nhìn.
With any part of your body, shirt, you. It would be a foul.
Yeah, I like him drawing this.
Ngon rồi, con cái không sao hết.
Use a little lower tip position to really kill the cue ball.
Con 5 này vẫn khó.
Nice. Not only got to make a nice shot, but I mean, there's no guaranteed position on the 6 with the 7 down table.
Yeah, and table number 2, Capito will survive, as you see on your screen.
Oh, Capito thắng rồi này mọi người ơi.
Leading 3-0 more.
Capito thắng rồi.
Capito moves on.
Rơi. Ui, không rơi đi.
What we were talking about earlier. You're going to get some good layouts. You're going to get balls or racks you're supposed to run.
Nó khó thế.
You take one shot off mentally, you get a little out of line with the cue ball. Now you can see not hit terribly, but didn't take much to cause a miss.
No, I agree, JJ. You're right. He could have got into the combination a little bit better and maybe held
2-3 rồi.
Some distance off this right long rail that way. Following shots a little easier, but kind of took a little time off there and just knocked the combination in. Ended up funny, and Sanjin left to pick up the pieces.
Yeah, nothing much here. Just a couple easy balls to make it 3-2. table 2, which will resume here in just a moment. Eagle Eye, Jason Shaw against young Cledio Kachi. There a nickname for Cledio yet? You got one? Has it been tagged?
Not that I know of. I'm sure he'll earn one within the next year or so. They probably got a couple for him over there in Albania.
Hats off to our referees. Been working long days. Not only last week, but of course these 8 days here for the PLP.
Yeah, racking the balls, especially a big guy like that. Over time, that lower back has to start to feel it. Never could figure out, Jeremy, is it a benefit to be shorter when you're ranking the balls or taller?
Well, the same argument's always been about a player as well. Both have their ups and
9
downs. Pardon the pun. I still think, you know, like a 6-foot guy, for as far as a player, has a little more advantage than the shorter ones. I mean, there's a little more wear on the back, but when you talk about technically, I think a little longer arc doesn't hurt. Probably get a little higher back elbow easily and reaching shots.
Bàn bên cạnh là Kachi với Jason Shaw.
A little bit taller players.
Yeah, probably not as much longevity, but definitely throughout the prime, I would have to agree with that.
Yeah, and I think as the sport evolves, we're going to see more of those more athletic frames.
Anh tính sao với con 2 này?
More pool. I think the same thing happened in golf.
Yeah, look at Filler, look at AJ Manis, look at Better Gorst. I mean, there's a lot of them coming out now.
I think he can beat the Kiss, kind of banking the 2.
Đánh dài ngày thế này anh mệt rồi. Mệt không còn kiểm soát tốt nữa rồi. Tôi cũng đang mệt đây. Ba con 2 đen quá anh em ạ. Đường riêng rồi.
Off the 2 softly with right spin up behind the 6.
Yeah.
Just lay the 2 over on the left long rail, but here's one that Sanjin does get up for and can bury. This is his.
Đổ toát mồ hôi rồi đấy.
Yeah, this is the one.
Nắp con 2 nè. Nắp con 2. Giữa hòm luôn. 3 ra 4 thì không vấn đề gì. Có chỗ con 8 kia kìa. Hy vọng điều đường xấu nhất. Nhưng không, nếu ăn được con 7 thì điều 8 nó dễ rồi. Giờ hy vọng đối sai sót. Đây rồi, vừa nói xong. Vừa hy vọng đối sai sót luôn. Đối hiểu ý mình thế. Ok, Sanjin ơi. Bùa chú của anh em chả thấy nói gì. Cứ để tôi dùng. Tí trước con 8 kìa.
We've touched on it. He's one of those players that like to put a little more into the power, right? With the
chuyền bóng đi. Hôm nay tôi cũng vừa đi chuyển nước này. Đêm dài ngày quá.
Yeah, this guy here is certainly a shot maker and elevates the cue as well as anyone, I think, near the rail.
Chắc con 4 đi.
Chắc con 4 anh ơi. Can't just let it go.
Ok, vào rồi anh em ơi.
Just real confident whenever he elevates the cue. Watching him practice here the last few days, he always sets up a ton of shots off the rail.
Yeah, I think one of the reasons for that is that he doesn't quite get all the way down on the ball like some of the elite players where their chin's basically touching the cue. He's up a few inches.
Giờ chỉ mong anh Hoàng chắc chắn từng con bi thôi.
Nothing wrong with it, but I think it helps his elevation a little bit.
Yeah, and he's super steady with the body and The other thing, anytime you elevate the cue, or let's say
Cho
you're
dẫn
near the
1-0.
rail and the cue has to get elevated, it just instantly makes you want to kind of
6 ra 7
overhit the
không vấn
ball.
đề.
So I think one thing he does is
Ok.
he never really just kind
Hơi
of
nhẹ
rips
lực
at
tí,
it
không
when he's
sao.
elevating the cue. He's still really steady, doesn't miss hit the cue ball.
Tôi mấy hôm nay đang ốm ông ơi.
Just
Từ hôm qua
either
đến giờ
get a
đang
little
ốm.
cut on the 8 and work the cue
Không muốn
balls.
nói
Don't
to
take
lắm.
any chances.
Mà người mệt.
Yeah, like that.
I'd love to get the stats, but it seems like all the matches I've
Không sao,
covered
con
this
8 này
week
vẫn
or
chơi
what
được.
I've covered this week, Sanjin
Chủ yếu làm
has
sao ra
really
con 9
struggled
đẹp nhất thôi.
early and then come on
8 vẫn
late.
chơi được.
Just an interesting thought that came through my mind there.
All right, this may be a little 50-ish. It's okay. Definitely missable though.
Không sao, anh Hoàng chém mấy quả này chém tốt mà. 9 khó chứ. Mấy con 9 khó anh Hoàng chém suốt rồi. Con khác khó anh Hoàng còn khó chém, chứ con này dễ rồi. Giữa hò. 4-2. 3 cơ hội cho anh Hoàng.
And these two, they're dollars they're playing for, like we talked about, with the outside chance of making that final 6. Here's a good look at EOI.
Sau trận này là trận 12 rưỡi. 12 rưỡi, 1 rưỡi, 1 tiếng nữa. 1 tiếng nữa anh Hoàng vào tiếp. Anh Hoàng sẽ gặp cái ông đang đánh này.
Yeah. You know, yesterday some of the matches didn't show how well he played, but one thing's
gặp So thì khó rồi anh em.
Had any bad losses when he has lost? Not that I can recall. Always been in it seems so.
Anh Hoàng còn So với Chua.
Với
ai nữa nhỉ?
Yeah, we'll get more of Eagle Eye and young Cledio.
Sen. So Chua Sen.
All right, the two got pinned on the back cushion, bottom cushion.
Ok, hai chưa ăn được.
Up the table.
So 2-0 rồi.
Yeah, and I believe his last break got pinned to the top cushion.
Yeah, not taking a whole lot of time here.
Hay quá.
Him just banking that ball up the table wasn't going to really get much in return.
Nhưng quả này ra 3 cũng vất nhá.
You can't just give him a free look. He's going to plant you
còn
behind
cái
the
khe
7 or put the 2 behind
cái
that
khe giữa
wall
4-6
and
kìa.
work the cue ball. So
totally agree, Jay. And I think
khe đấy thì đẹp nhất kìa. Thì ra 4 cũng đẹp nhất kìa.
These players tend to overlook at times.
Yeah, just kind of put the 2 up the right side rail, maybe go behind the 8.
Anh
Make it to where they're going to play a
qua
safe
khe
one,
6-7
but
à?
it's not going to be devastating. You know, you're going to be able to get out of it.
Yeah, exactly. And even if you can see the ball, right, when you go side rail to side rail, they don't have as much
con này là phải tính toán này.
I think that's really important.
Yeah, they're usually kind of
côn.
clipping and running the cue ball, and
chưa côn,
most players
cắm
do
được.
a great job of that, but it's still always hard to get the snooker. Is he going past this all the way to the pocket? He needs to go a little bit.
Anh Hoàng quyết định đánh xa. Có mất má không?
Thought that he would have taken a little longer look at where he wanted to be there. Maybe concerned about the corner pocket.
Để kiểu này khó nhìn quá.
He has all of this, Jeremy.
No, I agree.
Marseille. Thủ.
Good touch there.
Hay anh ơi.
Did he cut him off from the right long rail? If he did, this is really tough. Might be value going from the left, actually.
Vào má trong con 3 rơi cái luôn đi.
Yeah, maybe that's just a little experience, not recognizing that shot. That shot was pretty easy overall. And the main thing about that shot is you
như thế này
may
cái
not
má
get
này
snooker, but you're not leaving him anything offensive.
Nhìn đường con 4. Đẩy lên à. 4 đường xa. Vốn này chém được nỗ 10 không anh em? Tôi không biết đâu. Tôi không chém được nỗ 10 đâu. Ui. Con 3.
What we can see, not the start that Sanjin wanted.
And it seems to be a little bit repetitive for him in the early stages each day. Well, one big shot away right here. Gets this down. He's a heavy
Ok, lỗ tít ngon luôn.
Seal the deal.
Yeah, very confident stroke.
Mã này thì 5 ra 6 không vấn đề gì rồi.
Okay, simple work from here.
7 không sợ rồi.
A little bit. Get an angle on the 7, 8 and 9 grouped on the bottom end.
Chắc là 5-2 được rồi đấy. Đến đây 5-2 được rồi đấy. Mấy con này cơ bản nhất rồi.
Well, one thing for these players, it's hard to do the math even on day number 7 because there's going to be some losses that have
tiếp
to
theo của bàn này
players
là
ahead of him
Rui
because they're going to
với
have to play each other. So
Leo
someone
Sen.
has to lose it, right? So you can get yourself a little. The wire's a little crossed in the brain if you try to do too much.
Bắt tay được rồi anh em ơi.
Playing these matches, so just do your
Bắt tay
thing,
được
keep
rồi.
knocking these balls in. We'll see both these
Ok,
guys.
5-2. Trận sau gặp So là một vấn đề. Sau buổi sáng là gặp Chua với Sen. Lịch buổi sáng thì chưa có đâu. Lịch buổi sáng thì chưa có. Đây, cho anh em xem bảng tỷ số. Đây. Trận tiếp theo này. Trận tiếp theo Dương Quốc Hoàng gặp Sen So này. Sau cái trận Rui này. Rui giờ vào bàn đúng không? Capito với Sen. Hoặc bàn 2 Kachi với So đánh xong này. Thì Rui với Leo Sen rồi đến anh Hoàng. Đây. Tức là rơi vào khoảng tầm 45 phút đấy. So đánh nhanh đấy. Từ 45 phút đấy. Cho anh em xem bảng điểm nhé. Cái lô Kachi không tính tiền này. Anh Hoàng lên 9 đúng không? Anh em lại xem 21 mà. Ok 21. 21 Sanjin bị xuống rồi. Anh Hoàng lên rồi. Trừ 6 với trừ 4 trừ 6. Nhưng còn vượt qua hai ông này nữa. Hai ông này thua này. Anh Hoàng thắng Sen này. Moritz thua này. Anh Hoàng kém 2 trận nữa, kém 2 trận nữa. Ui ông này dư 14 luôn này. Ông này dư 14 anh em ạ. Như thế anh Hoàng bắt buộc phải thắng 3 trận còn lại nhé. Và ông Leo Sen không thắng trận nào nhé. Ông Leo Sen dư 14 ạ. Trời ơi. Ông So này nữa. Đây, hai ông này. Đó, show anh em bảng điểm đấy. Mình vừa sâu bảng điểm đấy bạn ơi. Anh Hoàng lên thứ 8 rồi. Vừa sâu bảng điểm đấy. Bạn có thể tua lại một chút. Vừa sâu xong. 8 trên cái ông vừa thắng.
Stupid game. Extension. Extension.
Yeah, Shane will have seen the result on table 2. You'll know Shaw was 4 up. This could end up anywhere when you full table drawing. Needs a friendly bump or 0 bump. Nice shot. Yeah, try to get a bit of an angle there, pump it out.
And he's going to love this. Should get on the board, but match a little out of his hands as a whole, especially the way Capito's been playing.
Yeah, he saves the donut, 4-1. FSR is in 3rd place, 13 points, tied with Yap, who's in 4th, also on 13 points. He's playing Neuhausen. Neuhausen currently in 6th place on 12 points. So if Neuhausen can win that point, he will go above Shaw and he'll knock Shaw into 6th place. Neuhausen's got a game in hand just because he's about to start. 4 players have played 21 matches. The other 6 have played 20 matches. 24 matches for phase 2. That will end phase 2. We're going to lose the bottom 4. Top 6 move forward. Top 6 will all play each other again until we find a top 4, and that's the semis and the final. An absolute marathon of 9-ball pool. 8 days it will take to find the winner. SVB misses the 1 ball.